out to the side. And here is our embryo.
Cranial most
Okay?
image,
Now,
33 hours,
this
chicken embryo.
material here becomes the connective tissue of the head. We refer to that as the head mesenchyme. Okay, so that's what this is. This structure here is the bright red tissue that goes across here is the neural ectoderm. Ectoderm, so remember this has taken place after gastrulation, after the germ layers have formed, and the nervous tissue is going to develop from the ectoderm. This is the neuroectoderm here, and it's going to at this stage, all the neural tissue surrounds the cavity, but at particular levels within the brain, we can identify structures, areas of the brain that are going to develop into particular regions of the brain. In the early brain, we have what is referred to as the prosencephalon, mesencephalon, and rhombencephalon. Then those three parts of the brain break up and get subdivided into 5 parts of the brain for which we typically have representative sections grossly in the host, in the fetus and beyond. And those are the telencephalon, the diencephalon, the mesencephalon, the metencephalon, and the myelencephalon. And that goes cranial to caudal. Okay? At this level here, we're just behind the telencephalon, and that's the diencephalon. Okay? The only way you would know that is comparing this section, is knowing where this section was taken along the length of the embryo from cranial to caudal. But if you look at that diagram, see if I can move this. Here we go. If you look at this diagram here, remember this is taking place after the primitive streak has formed, and we have the formation of the primitive node. That gives us cranial to caudal orientation, left to right orientation, and then we're going to have dorsal symmetry and just a dorsal ventral orientation with the formation and identification of the notochord. Okay? So here's the notochord right here, and then here we have the neural groove closing in this. And this is what we're seeing. Okay? And this is going to give rise to this structure right here, which is the embryo at 33 hours. And we have a section right through here. Okay, we have a section right through here. Okay, we're going to have another section behind here and here and here. So we're moving caudally with sections transverse to the embryo. Okay, this is going to become the eye. This is actually the optic vesicle right here. Okay. Now we go further down, and we go further down in the embryo, and we're going to have we're going to identify more structures, right? We're here at the embryo at this stage. Remember, these are lateral to the embryo here. This space here at the bottom is going to be the subcephalic space or pocket right here. This is going to be more neural tube, right? This is going to develop into the brain right here. This is neuroectoderm right here. This is the neural canal, okay? And we start to get one of the structures that we look at through the length of the embryo, the aortic arch, which is going to become the dorsal aorta. The exterior tissue on this embryo at this stage is the skin ectoderm. Okay, it is going to become this is the ectoderm, and it's going to become the skin of the embryo at this stage. Okay. Now we move to the next embryo, or the next section of the embryo. We're continuing to move caudally. Okay, we're continuing to move caudally. And so here we have, again, neural tube right here. This tissue here is going to be what? Neuroectoderm. Okay, so it's a section. It's going to become the central nervous system tissue, brain or spinal cord. At this point, it's going to be around the level of the myelencephalon, okay, or the medulla. trending into the spinal cord. And then here we have one of our landmarks right there. That's the notochord. Okay, that's going to be the notochord. And the notochord is important because it gives rise to the dorsal and ventral orientation of the developing embryo. So with this, and with your previous information, you now have the three-dimensional, you have the three axes to define the tissues within the embryo. You have a cranial to caudal axis, a left to right axis, and now here a dorsal and ventral axis. So here we can say this is dorsal aorta, and this is ventral aorta, because it's ventral to here's the notochord, and then this is going to become the foregut. Now remember, we have a heart that's going to appear in caudal sections, and the aorta is going to come off the heart